very much stuck.
You're not stuck with me.
I know. Stuck with a child.
I want to be a family.
No. Did you have sex with anybody?
No.
Wow.
Babe, why are we together? Why is we doing this? You don't want a baby with me, so why don't...
Look me in my eyes when you lie to me, babe.
You're an idiot. Her beauty, her booty, and her bank account, so bye boy to him. Bobby, this isn't about me and you. Bobby, take that out.
No, this is what...
That is not part of the script.
Look, yeah, I'm trying to get in there, get in there. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Get in there, get in there. Get in there, get in there, get in there.
Okay. Yo, this motherfucker really like to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. He likes to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl.
I am of the theory that every relationship, no matter how good or good it looks, has a little toxicity to it. So can you see a bit of you in these relationships?
Very much stuck.
You're not stuck with me.
I know. Stuck with a child by you.
As you can tell today, guys, we'll be talking about toxic relationships, Hollywood, social media, the entertainment business, how it promotes toxic relationships. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to use a few disclaimers here. To talk about domestic violence, I have to use the word DV, sexually assaulting. I have to say SA, just to coincide with YouTube's community guidelines. So bear with me. But we'll be covering these toxic relationships, what makes them toxic, what do they promote, how it's damaging for the viewers, and how in some shape or form we all contribute to this toxicity.
I think I'm gonna finish interview.
No, you're not.
You wanna do it by yourself?
What do you mean, do it by
I'm
myself?
gonna do it.
Are you looking at me?
No. Wait, this is what I'm saying. Fuck.
No, because you're being weird.
Hey.
Stop it.
Wait, stop it, please. No, take her outside. Take her outside. Take her outside. For you. I don't speak for you.
Right.
That's what you said the whole interview. I don't speak for you.
Come here. Hey, come here, bro. What do you like?
But before we get into all of that, I'm going to need you to do me one massive favor, and that's please like, comment, share, and subscribe in order for this channel to grow. I will need your support. I will need your subscription. If you like something, like it. Tell me why you like it. If you dislike it, that's brilliant. Tell me why. Don't DM me about some nonsense. Okay, that's weird. Put it into the comments. Engagement, it grows the channel. Or you could just hate quietly. I don't hate. Okay, so I decided to break this episode into 3 segments, 3 couples, how they're prominent in the media, how they're prominent by Hollywood, and prominent in their exposure of themselves on social media and how it's problematic. So, who did I start with?
We put all this together.
We did it.
I know we about it. We about anything.
Primes, ultra primes.
Oh, this is your fantasy truck.
This is a Zeiss compact zoom. There's a Aries zoom. This is the older compact consumer zoom, right?
These are really great. The 70s, they're light handheld lenses.
I don't care.
What can I tell you? We're just having a good time.
I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. And if you're making a record about it, that seems kind of like telling it.
However, it goes without saying, most people be aware that Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck have a past that dates back about 20 years. They rekindled their relationship a few years ago, and it became the talk and speculation of the media, social media around, paparazzi following them around. documenting their relationship, showing their relationship from all different angles, having her speak about it, having him speak about their relationship. At one point, it seemed very cute. However, like their original romance, it quickly started to shatter that pristine image that Jennifer Lopez cultivated.
Had always secretly kept all the letters and emails he had written to Jennifer on the side, and when they reunited again in 2021, he surprised her with them in book form. He later found out that Jennifer had been showing it to people who were working on her film and album for inspiration.
On that first day, I showed everybody this book. This book is a book that Ben gave me on our first Christmas back together. It is every letter and every email that we wrote to each other from 20 years ago and today. It became like our Bible, and we just left it there in the studio, and people would thumb through it. They're like, can we look at it? I was like, look at it.
In the documentary, he said, my book that I had given her was down there. She's like, I've been reading it to people. This is kind of the inspiration, and I've been showing them the book.
It's like, you've been showing all the musicians all those letters that, and they were like, yeah, we call you Pen Affleck. And I was like, oh my God.
He then went on a rant about the irony in the fact that it's titled The Greatest Love Story Never Told, but you're making a record about it. That seems kind of telling it.
I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. And if you're making a record about it, that seems kind of like telling it.
Now it's clear, Ben looked exhausted, tired every time he was there. He was well aware that this was going to be a part of the process.
I had a very firm sense of boundaries initially around like the press. While Jen, I don't think objected to it in the way I did. I very much did object to it. Getting back together, I said, listen, one of the things I don't want is a relationship on social media. And then I sort of realized it's not a fair thing to ask.
He himself has said that he was aware that this was going to be a part of the process. The media attention that comes with dating someone like Jennifer Lopez, the media attention of being a big Hollywood celebrity in this high-profile relationship wasn't a shock to him. However, I think the level of speculation, the level of superstardom that followed Jennifer Lopez was a surprise to him and led him to looking like the most miserable man in the world. However, it was speculated that that was a cause of the divorce, her controlling nature, and also I think the problem that Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck promote, where it becomes problematic for the viewers, those people who overconsume, younger people that watch it, is the subtle manipulation, the validation of self through external validation on social media and media outlets, constantly having themselves photographed, constantly documenting their relationship. To me, and by this psychologist/psychiatrist,
Western University, all that sharing doesn't mean that you have a good relationship. In fact, happier couples post less than unhappy couples. I'm going to give you 5 reasons that happier couples don't post or use social media to promote their partner or their relationship. The first one is they don't need the validation. When someone genuinely loves someone, they don't care what other people think. It's nice if they like their partner, but overall they're really into this person. Secondly, they weren't interested in social media. They didn't want to take a break from what they were experiencing with this person to share it with other people. They wanted to savor it and to build on it. Thirdly, they really protect their boundaries. The healthier the relationship, the less they want to hurt their partner by something they post. So they're really nervous about that on social media, and they talk to each other so that they can help each other feel secure. Fourthly, they didn't need the likes or the loves. They did not need that from other people on social media. They weren't into it, and it didn't mean anything to them because they felt like they were posting to a world of strangers. And lastly, they stayed off social media in general more than unhappy couples. In fact, a study from the Denmark Institute of Happiness found that when couples stayed off Facebook for a week, their anger went down, their depression went down, and their anxiety.
Clearly illustrates if you are looking for external validation, then that means that there's no internal validation within the relationship. That can apply to self and applies to relationships. And it's a harmful image that is being promoted that Ben was just this annoying guy who didn't want to be involved in her superstardom, and not look at the fact that she sought out those attention-seeking behaviors. She sought out to be constantly pictured, constantly photographed, and anyone that is doing that in the celebrity world, trust me, it's intentional. They are trying to market their relationship to keep themselves somewhat relevant in the cultural media zeitgeist.
Just like Jennifer ran Ben in the early 2000s, she still runs him now. I'm not sure why he thought this time around would be different because he looks completely drained anytime he is near her. Even though Ben and Jennifer's dynamic isn't PR and it's real in some aspects, it is orchestrated and fueled by Jennifer's obsession with attention. She's always giving out information to the press and she paints the story that she wants out there.
This manipulation of her image, this manipulation of who she is nothing new. Celebrities have been doing that since the beginning of celebrityisms. Is that a word? Anyway, they've been doing it, but however, I think J-Lo is an extreme, and the problem is you find people online mimicking this behavior, being in relationships and documenting it, videoing it any chance they get. And the problem that happens with that is that there's not enough discussion about how that means that your relationship is externally seeking validation. You see other relationships online mimicking this too, and it can be very problematic. And when you see them fold, it can be.
Yo, what you doing?
I'm taking.
It's a prank.
I'm taking my son.
But Bianca, it's a prank. Look, Bianca, you woke DJ up. Dude, what is you doing? You woke DJ up.
No.
Dude, DJ starting to cry.
When you see the relationships end, it's far often that they don't discuss that aspect. Now, Ben and Jennifer, it was hinted at, but it seemed like a lot of media spin. Everything Jennifer Lopez was saying seemed to do more to protect her image than document what really went on and how it really ended. I believe personally that was a real relationship, but from what Ben said, it seemed like more of an adrenaline rush, a rush for some sort of old feeling, a play on nostalgia that we all love, which kept us all hooked to what was going on.
The latest in the saga is a source telling Page Six that if there was a way to divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, he would. He feels like the last 2 years was just a fever dream, and he's come to his senses now and understands that there's just no way this is going to work.
And less of a, healthy relationship. And the problem is, far too often social media and Hollywood depict these relationships as healthy at one point, making people believe that this is a depiction of love. And as long as you come to a cohesive agreement that we promote our relationship online, we'll be fine. No, relationships should stay for the most part offline. I wish that was discussed a lot more. Yes, there is the nature of when you put your relationship online, there's an element of controllingness that comes from the person who's promoting it the most. It did come to light that was an aspect of Jennifer Lopez's behavior. It's come to light that Jennifer Lopez herself has a darker side.
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez held an audition for dancers for one of her tours. Most of the time, a dance audition, you're not getting paid. You've been there since 10 a.m. and you're auditioning until 6 p.m.
Well, it's like stand-up, yeah.
Yeah, and you're not getting paid. Yeah, exactly. You don't get any money.
I love working for free.
Yes, people judging you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
She walks in the room and she said, thank you so much. You guys have worked so hard. By a show of hands, if there are any Virgos in the room, can you just raise your hand? So a bunch of Virgos raised their hand.
And she shot them on sight.
Shot them on sight. Savannah, Georgia.
What did she do? Did they have to leave?
She whispered to her assistant.
No.
She looked at them and she said, "Thank you so much for coming."
Get out of here! Oh my God!
And they had to leave.
And a celebrity was rude to you.
Jennifer Lopez.
Same, and I'm going to try to tell them really quickly. 2 stories about Jennifer Lopez being an awful human being. So number 1, when she has drivers, the number 1 rule she has for them is they can't look at her, they can't talk to her, and her luggage is never allowed to touch the ground. If any of those things happen, she will go out of her way to make sure you get fired. Even if you have to look in the rear view mirror while you're driving, she will call that you trying to look at her and proceed to berate you. And I know this because my dad worked for that driving company, and he refused to drive her whenever she came in town because of how awful she treated the drivers. Second story, she was with Ben, I believe at MGM or whichever casino, and Ben's a great tipper and he respects service workers. And so he tipped a lot of people a lot of money that night. Jennifer goes around to each of those people and takes back the tip and gives them maybe $5-10, maybe. She is an awful person.
And it is quite problematic. It's the bits that's missed out of the dialogue when discussing the self-promotion of relationships online, that it can lead to one partner being more controlling, specifically the partner that is more likely to be the online present or the more online presence that we see. One thing that comes to mind anytime I discuss relationships with friends or anytime I discuss relationships on this channel is that we're just far too privy to so much of the information. The fact that we know that he was kikiing with Jennifer Garner, we know when she took off her wedding ring, when he took off her wedding ring, leaves your relationship far too exposed, and it should be, for the most part, private. Love is best when it remains private, because people are haters.
And I want to thank my haters too because...
However, if that was all I was going to talk about, I wouldn't be on this channel talking about this. You know that. You know there's more. Here's the second relationship.
Gunshot, thought you heard about me, must not. Last nigga did me dirty, like a bathroom in a truck stop. Now my heart, it feels like pillow. I'm hard like I'm a pillow. Can't be no nigga ex, I could only be his widow. That's a fact, just in black, my heart breaks, bones will crack. I be chillin', watching Oxygen, my favorite show is Snap. Nah, you know how I get, every day a foreign whip. Rather see you in a hearse than you with some other bitch.
Cardi B and Offset. Now, if the first couple that I discussed, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, were promoting validation online, subtle forms of controllingness, over nostalgialism of love and romance, it's quite clear that Cardi B and Offset are promoting, subtly in some way, cheating, seeking validation online, but perhaps very differently to Jennifer Lopez. I think the difference between Cardi B's online presence and Jennifer Lopez's media presentation is
I'm afraid to be vulnerable because people want to say, oh, you be looking for sympathy, but
vulnerability. She just seems so much more vulnerable, Cardi B, to the point where you almost want to tell it, come offline. We know far too much of the intimate details of Cardi B and Offset's relationship.
Good for nothing, low down dirty dog. I'm convinced next time you see your mama, tell her how she raised the I'm going out. Side, cause it's hot out. You was playing games. You on time out. Yo, when I tell you, Nick, the narcissism is all time high. And you know what's so crazy? I really be feeling like when people be saying like narcissist and everything, I be like, do y'all even know what that word mean? But now I really do see what's a fucking narcissist. And it's so crazy that I think that that's enough. It's not enough, honey. It's just not enough. And you know what's so funny too? I find it funny that they think that they could on anything. But when I start talking, you want to threaten me with taking shit that I fuck my ass up for. You want to play those games with me? We're going to play them games too.
Heck, we know she cheated on him with an NFL player, allegedly Stephon Diggs. Baller that he is, it's still quite shameful that she's cheating while she's pregnant.
Catching Offset doing all type of bullshit. And basically, when Cardi B was like 8 months pregnant, Offset went through her phone and caught her texting a nigga, some dog-ass nigga named Stephon Diggs.
However, what are they promoting? I believe, and I would argue, they're promoting cheating and poor boundaries with social media. You see, the difference between Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B is not only the vulnerability, but it's the boundaries. The very least, Jennifer Lopez knows that she's trying to present her best self in the media, social media, and online. While Cardi B just presents herself.
I really been sparing you. You've been feeling yourself, you bitch ass, because of your bitch ass album and shit. And you really been doing me dirty after so many years that I motherfucking helped your ass. Not even a thank you that I got for your ass.
Which has made her far more endearing, far more likable, helped her create the unique relationship she has with her fandom. Cardi B was on her come up. She came up from being a viral sensation.
It's cold outside, but I'm still looking like a thotty because a hoe never gets cut.
With the joke on what would now be Vine. Damn, that's a long time ago. She's been around for a while. Damn. But also coming through reality TV, she's had to cultivate a relationship. She's had to enter the modern age very much to build up her fandom. Hence why I think she has very poor boundaries with social media. That being said, it's a promotion of that. You got to remember, people may look at this and think that these are the extremities. These are the people that have gone too far. However, we always negate from this fact that because they're extreme, it does a numbingness to our mind.
Once social media was designed and keeps on creating itself, then the social media, in fact, is going to be shaping the brain so that the brain is responsive to culture. And in one of our research centers at UCLA, what we're able to show is that cultural experiences, that is, messages sent out in society that are mediated through communication, either one-on-one or mass media communication, actually shape the actual structure of the brain. And so it's a two-way street. The brain created social media, and social media shapes the brain.
Online, that we start to think this behavior is more normal, not the extremity of the behavior, but something close to it. And people being so vulnerable online, for the general part, is a bad space to be in. Again, similar to Jennifer Lopez, it's seeking validation online. You can tell in some of her rants, she's very vulnerable. She's very much looking for some sort of consolidation, some sort of comfort with this. And it's just a poor message to send out to not only young people, but people online. And the fact that we promote it, not only with our attention, but media companies like the Shade Borough, like the Shade Room, Blogs UK, all things like that, promote it without no care or discernment about how these people are really effective, turns them into caricatures and further damages them online. I think also, just to add, and it's very important to add this, that their communication is clearly terrible. I mean, indirecting each other online, we are two famous people who live together, who have each other's number, is the worst.
Cause them hoes ain't good enough that I be having you crashing out all weekend. You was mad happy today when I called you today, and the only reason why I called you today is because I'm trying to change my son's school and I need your approval. Other than that, fuck you. I don't care. F the world. F my ops. I'm gonna f your ops. That's why I'm f your ops. Yeah, of course, because you don't move with integrity. You're not a street. That's what you do. That's what you do. Oh, I'm gonna go f your ops. Goo boo hoo. I don't give a f. You can f my ops. You can f my friends. I don't give a shit. You're a lame to me, and you will never equate to me. And it's crazy that I even let you even play with me for such a long time, because you're not even a real right for me. I make you look good. F you. Look at the bitch I'm fucking. F you. I don't care. Look at the bitches that I'm fucking. I'm a all your ups. Matter of fact, oh, look at this. I don't want to see it. So what? You was gonna fuck them anyways, nigga. All you gotta do is get fucking drunk. And them bitches gonna throw you that.
The fact that we know the details of how they speak, they're ignoring. People are telling Offset, to stop calling. I mean, wow. Also, again, another thing that these kind of behaviors and this toxicity online does is promote behaviors that are very subtly under the DV category, very subtly controlling behaviors.
And you know what's so funny too? I find it funny. Just think that they could on anything. But when I start talking, you want to threaten me with taking shit that I work my ass off for.
So that line there could be very innocuous in nature, making people believe that, oh, you know, he's just doing this because he's angry. And people may not realize that that's a form of coercive control, and potentially it's very much insinuated, not said, that that is a form of financial control. Again, we don't know what he would take away, but I'm presuming it's something of value that is somewhat connected to finances. Again, I'm speculating. I don't want to put that on Offset. Did like his album, but it's very subtly put in there. And because there's no discernment online, number one, because there's no discussion about how this behavior is dangerous and it triggers feelings of lack of self-worth, it normalizes the behavior, people may presume that that kind of behavior is normal when you're angry. And as long as it's not at the extreme of Cardi B and Offset, it's not problematic. And I really hope that online this changes. But, there's one final couple that will be a part of my expose of how social media and Hollywood promote toxic couples and toxic love.
Take God's credit, bro.
I'm taking God's credit. No, God sent me for you. All that passionate shit you used to be popping back in the day is crazy. Now it's a whole different story.
Cause you're trying to say, babe, I didn't have no divine to my life.
You didn't. You had a backpack and a pair of cleats. So come looking for Chrisean Rock divined already? Or did Chrisean Rock come to me out of desperation?
How out of desperation? You're hosting a show. That's business.
You're a goofy.
No, not true.
Okay, so it took something for you to get 7 tattoos, right? You goofy bitch.
Bust down Tatiana, bust down Tatiana. The Tatiana superstar that is Blueface. And Chrisean Rock, the girl with a missing tooth. And a guy with a tattoo on his face. No shock that they have become a cultural zeitgeist, or they were a cultural zeitgeist. As currently stated, Blueface is in jail for a firearms charge unrelated to the Chrisean Rock and Blueface saga. Chrisean has a kid, by the way, so does Cardi B and Offset, and the sad thing about this is that there's children really involved. But boy, I mean, they are a DV couple, if there ever is. There's DV, there's mental, there's perhaps revenge porn.
Or when she's not feeling good, or when she hates you, she gonna post your sex tape. Or when she's feeling like...
We gotta talk about that.
That's what I'm telling you, she got so many like... Good.
It's just overwhelming how much this is perpetuated online. And my issue again, and it's a criticism to so many blogs, newspapers that cover this, there is no sort of understanding that this is triggering, this can normalize the behavior, and some sort of help for people who will read this and are impressionable, young and vulnerable. This behavior, again, I know a lot of people may say that it's so extreme. However, you've got to understand that the more we consume things, the more it consumes us, and the behavior becomes normalized in one shape or form, either distorting our reality of what love is or distorting our reality of what is acceptable.
Let's take your and most people's lives as an example. You're probably working a stressful job that you might not particularly enjoy but endure anyway because it gets the bills paid. Because it's so stressful and draining, you go to the internet to mentally escape and recharge. And it's on the internet where you get absolutely overloaded with all kinds of information. News, celebrity drama, content creators being exposed for... and people saying the most insulting and hateful things because it's the internet. Everyone's anonymous and therefore aren't held accountable for their actions. When this is the type of information you're constantly exposed to, would it be any surprise if you think the world is on fire and that there's no hope for humanity? The same logic can be applied to your perspective on dating. The type of relationship content that is most likely to be fed to your algorithm are the ones that are negative and hostile towards the opposite sex. And this makes sense because it's engaging and gets a reaction out of you, whether it be because you share the same experience or because it's rage bait. My ex cheated on me this, my partner is toxic and manipulative that. Men ain't shit. Women get the ick when a guy breathes. I have to train my boyfriend because he doesn't know how to treat a woman right. Women like to cause problems and make things difficult for the sake of it. It just keeps going on and on and on like an ultimate ping pong match. And again, there's a truth to these things. But when you're constantly consuming this type of information, you end up getting stuck in an echo chamber where all you hear is that men are trash, women are problematic, and because others are reaffirming what everyone else is saying, you assume that it must be the norm, not the exception.
Again, what I'm trying to say is that it completely distorts our reality and takes away from the everyday life that we may or may not see that is not representative of what we see online. But because we consume it so much, it can feel like a part of everyday life, especially when there's not enough pushback about how destructive this behavior is. I mean, yes, they have tortured past. Blueface with his mother, Chrisean Rock with her past.
Chrisean Rock was born Chrisean Malone on March 14th, 2000 in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. She was raised in a massive family, which she was the 11th born sibling in a family of 12 kids. And as you might imagine, with a family that large, things were far from easy for Chrisean growing up. For one thing, her family moved throughout several neighborhoods when she was a child as a result of her father never being around, thanks to the fact that he was serving a prison sentence for much of her early life. In fact, Chrisean never even met her dad until she was 7 years old.
I met him when I was 7 because he came home, he was locked up for like I don't know how long. I went through abuse, so getting either choked out or beat on.
Meanwhile, Chrisean's mother struggled with drug addiction, which made it difficult for her to be a consistent presence in any of her children's lives. On top of all these hardships, Chrisean also had to deal with being the victim of abuse. During an interview with Fox News where she was being profiled as a student athlete, she detailed how she was choked and beaten while just a small child.
But that shouldn't be used as some sort of way of okaying the behavior, of promoting it. And sadly, people promote it, myself to some degree, for engagement, for clicks, for likes, for views. Hopefully my views go up.
Be quiet, I'll be
when
quiet.
I talk short, my gonna shut the up. Listen,
Man, that's weird, bro.
Usually when I talk, I'm used to shutting the that's what I'm saying, dissecting it, and then picking her part of
her truth.
Exactly.
I feel it.
This one right here, she just
Stop saying this one right here. Talk to me. Look at me. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. Stop playing with me with Shark. I love you. You just talking to Shark and you trying to isolate me from that conversation. I love you. I'm sorry. If you want me to be the bitch talking about what you talking to Shark about, I'll be that bitch. You said any other what? I'll be cool and I'll be quiet. I'll be cool.
I speak for myself.
I'll be cool and I'll be quiet. I'll be cool.
If you gonna be quiet, why you still talking?
Cause I'm talking to you, man.
What are you talking about?
Cause Daddy, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. How I feel.
And subtly, you can see the inflated egos, the codependency.
What are you talking about?
Rock, have you ever have you ever had a sober day?
Shut the up, yes.
No, don't tell me to shut up. Hey, I'll listen to me. I'm being very
talking to me.
The abandonment and alcohol abuse. Some people may think it's just an extreme and social media is the presentation of this. And I would say no, you've had Ike and Tina.
And 4 days in a row without coming home, and he keeps usually the bass man and the drummer with him. And the very last day when it's time to leave, they go home that morning about 5 and they have to leave at 12. Then you can't wake them up. So then we're worried if the drummer's gonna get there or the bass player. But usually everybody makes it except those two. We managed to get Ike out if we carry him.
How do you manage to relax? You work at such a high energy level, both of you, when you do shows. How do you get down from it? Does it take you a while to just
well, Ike
cool
gets
off after
parties.
Show? I know how Ike does it. Ike doesn't talk. He saves his energy. It's easy for him. That's why he's always up and you finish and you're exhausted. Ike hasn't said anything. No, I'm serious. Is it?
Well, it's after the show. Ike usually. He usually has a party afterwards. Now, I don't know how relaxing those parties are.
You admit that you have slapped Tina before, but why, Ike?
She would be walking around looking sad, with a lip drop, and I keep asking her, "And what is the matter with you? What's wrong?" And it's always nothing. And it would go on for a day or two till finally, why the don't you? And then this is where I would slap her or something. Then she would change her mood or attitude.
Whitney and Bobby.
Well, I heard from NBC your mom's got a talk show offer. She's a riot. You guys are like Burns and Allen.
Hold up. Why you gonna call my mom a riot? Boom.
She was a trip.
She was a trip. My mom was a trip.
No.
My mom was real. Let me just tell you like that. My mom was real. She was coming from the heart. If you can't respect that, then you shouldn't have been here, all right?
Now, can I ask you something?
Yeah, please do.
I'm gonna step out because my wife speaks different.
I think it's very special, and I thought this would be a very special night for my husband.
Call my mom a trip.
I did it in a good way.
Come on, man. You at my birthday party calling my mom a trip. Turn off the camera.
And that's just to name a few that we've seen the media become obsessed with, and in a strange way, they become the victims of the media's obsession, creating a hyperbolic environment where their anger, their every little incident becomes the micro focus of the media's lens and removes them from reality and creates an inflated ego, reducing their self-worth, which is all connected and all normalized within DV relationships, never discussed online, but sadly leaves them as the victims of the media eye. You see, the other two examples were people who were using the media to express themselves, but in some shape or form were creating distortions of what love is, relationships is, what's acceptable. In the case of Cardi B, her accepting of cheating and believing that cheating back makes it okay is a poor representation of what relationships are about and how you should respond to cheating. But when you look at Blueface and Chrisean Rock, you look at them as the victims. I mean, they're doing this for attentions and they're actually clowns. And I mean that respectfully because Chrisean Rock has changed her life.
Hood gospel. I want to know what hood gospel is.
Like, Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God's way. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God's way. Took my baby to get blessed and they said it's for clout. I'ma do my best for me and mine, that's from here on out. Trying to change my life, but all these demons keep attacking me. Ran back to my ex, the world saying it's toxicity. But they don't know he blessed me with my only son. That's why it's hard to let him go, but now I think I'm done. Who would've knew that a bundle of joy would fix my heart? I swear he gave me that fire when I was in the dark. I'm crying out to God to help me with these hard times. Don't want no drama, so I'm throwing up the peace signs. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God's way. Yahweh, Yahweh, there's only one way and it's God's way.
You are anointed.
Music like that.
You are anointed.
I receive.
And you do wish her very much the best. But my only concern, as I've kept saying throughout the episode, is just the representation. How these cases distort our depictions of love, how it subtly promotes that cheating is okay as long as you cheat back, poor boundaries in social media, seeking validation through media, and in the case of Chrisean Rock and Blueface, not dealing with your issues, having codependent relationships, and thinking that drinking is not a form of drug abuse.
How do you guys feel about the Whitney and Bobby or Ike and Tina comparison?
I mean, personally, yeah, I don't really know too much about their story, so I couldn't even tell you if it was similar or not. But from what I do know, we don't have any drugs involved, so where it's like,
it's not funny.
I'm feeding her anything to keep her going or anything, honestly.
So you say she's not
chemically infused here.
Yeah, no.
This is just really her.
She's just naturally fried. Yeah.
Right, right.
So,
What did you talk?
A few moments later.
You can
Straight up.
wait, hold on, Gina. You can tell me that.
Bro, you say, oh, you need to remember word for word. I don't, bro. Because the one thing about me, one thing about trauma, I like to, no.
Told you,
I'm not drunk.
There went.
One thing about trauma, one thing about shit that play with me,
Why do you
I
have
want
so
to
much
forget.
trauma? Why you have so
What
much
do you
trauma?
mean? I don't, I
Right,
kind of
that's what I asked earlier.
I
I
want to
got
know too.
detoured.
Why
Are
you
you
have so much
getting?
trauma?
Are you
I'm
getting
asking
it?
you why you have so much trauma.
The trauma. I'm talking about the situation
Well, you
we're
ain't brought it
talking
up.
about. You're trying to like change the subject and play with me because I'm drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm
You said we don't think
I'm
you're drunk.
lit.
We don't
I'm
think
lit.
you're drunk.
What's
we
up?
got your back.
Very, very dangerous what we promote online. We need to, as an audience, be more discerning of the relationships that we're taking in from these celebrities and influencers. Sometimes they are PR relationships just to manipulate and garner our attention. In the weird case of Jennifer Lopez, you have the hybrid of that where it's like real love, but it's like someone also wanting to manipulate us for their attention. In the case of Offset and Cardi B, boy, you just see a woman getting taken advantage of. But when you're being taken advantage of, you think doing it back is okay. And it's problematic, and we just need to have a little bit more discernment about the kind of media that we consume, more responsibility from content creators. There should be a little bit more conversation about how these images can be damaging. Just putting something in the caption could help at least stem the bleeding of the things that we see online. But in the case of not wanting to repeat myself too much, I'm going to leave. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you next week, and I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.
Took my baby to get blessed and they say it's the cloud. I'ma do my best for me and mine, that's from here on out. Trying to change my life but all these demons keep attacking me. Ran back to my ex, the world saying it's toxicity. But they don't know he blessed me with my only son. That's why it's hard to let him go, but now I think I'm done. Who would've known that a bundle of joy would fix my heart? I swear he gave me that fire when I was in the dark. I'm crying out to God to help me through these hard times. Don't want no drama, so I'm throwing up the peace signs. Yahweh, Yahweh. What? There's only one way and it's God's way.